By the light of the sun, by the depth of the moon, by the flame of the wand, and by the pentacle of earth, I call upon the guides of wisdom, the ancestors of the craft, and the holy guardian angel. Guide us now through the stations of the dove and serpent. Reveal what is hidden, so we may transform it into light. Hello, beautiful souls. Welcome to Dove and Serpent Tarot. My name is Paul. In this reading, we walk the path of the dove and serpent spread, an 11-fold journey of transformation. Each position reveals a unique aspect of your journey, alternating between the essence of your being and the events that help to shape your destiny. Remember to hit the like button and consider subscribing to the channel, especially if this reading resonates with you. I am merely the messenger, and I ask you to connect directly with each of these cards and use your own intuition to take you beyond the details that I provide. And remember, Capricorn, that the most important part of any tarot reading is you. And we've got the Knight of Cups. This is a wonderful card. This is a Cancer kind of energy, okay? For those of you that may not know, Cancer is your opposite sign. So I feel like this is a very good way to start a reading, right? The Knight of Cups is an energy that's looking at the future, okay? Trying to understand what is the feeling that I want my life to have, right? Not the color of the wallpaper, not the exact details of what I'm doing, but how do I want it to feel, right? This is the first position. It's called the station. It reveals your sense of self, your essential personality, what's kind of occupying your mind, what you think about when you go to sleep at night, okay? And this is kind of reflecting your personal style or your identity, and it's asking, like, what are you passionate about? This is a card of the giving and receiving of love and affection. This is the card of pursuing the Holy Grail. But I think that you're somebody who is looking at your future and kind of thinking, do I like the way my future feels? Does it feel, am I creating the life that I really want in terms of the feeling, the emotional body? Because all of the knights are looking at the future, okay, and either ready to begin something or are already on the path, but are looking ahead. I don't care about the details. I don't care about what the plan is. What I care about is, how am I feeling about it? Do I like who I'm becoming? Do I like the life that I'm creating? Do I love the life I'm creating? Who am I? Where am I? What am I doing in the future? Not so much the details of that, but how I feel about it. Okay? What do I see my future feeling like? And so this is helping us right now to kind of analyze our situation, get a good feeling, a good assessment of where we are and where we're going, what we want, what we don't want, and what our path is. So I think there's a lot of this emotional introspection happening right now for you. I think you're a very thoughtful person. I think you're a very kind person. I think that you have a lot of care for other people. I feel like you're a very good gift giver, right? I feel like you kind of know like what to buy people. To me, this card is like we're looking to love a life that like loves us back, And so it really takes some honesty here, and to realize, what am I pursuing and why am I pursuing it? Am I pursuing it because it's my destiny, it's my passion, I have this holy grail sort of feeling about it? Or if I'm not passionate about what I'm doing, why am I doing what I'm doing? Well, there are other factors, obviously, right? And let's explore some of those with a little bit of context. Now, Capricorn, you're not here by accident. This message was meant to find you, okay? Here we have a 4 of Pentacles, a 5 of Pentacles. There we have a Knight of Wands. We have a 6 of Pentacles. Very good earth energy here. This is nice. And of course, we have a Hierophant, more earthy type of energy, right? We have a Prince of Wands. We have 8 of Swords. We have a 6 of Swords. And there it is. There's the 10. Oh, I got to ring the bell for that. That is extraordinary, because that is what the Knight of Cups is trying to see. The dream life. Is this the life that feels good? Yes, it is. This is something that you feel passionate for. There may be some material concerns that are kind of creating a wall between you and this future, right? But you're looking ahead on your path. It's like we're looking ahead toward that 10 of Cups, and we're thinking, I want that 10 of Cups, and I'm doing whatever it takes to take my life in that direction. It's absolutely extraordinary, okay? Because that's the dream life. That's the bliss. That's the satisfaction. That is the fulfillment, right? Being fully filled up with this sense of meaning and purpose and love, that you're living a life, you're loving a life that loves you back. Okay. Really nice. Let's select the mystery card, bonus card, confirmation card. This is a random card from the Smith-Waite Tarot. This is the factor infinite and unknown. We're going to set it down over here with our little octopus friend, the 8 of Pentacles, right there on top. We're not going to look at that card until the very end, so you do have to stick around until the end of the reading. It will tie everything together. It will give us the confirmation that we need at the end. If at any moment during this message you feel like you might know what that card could be, put your prediction in the comments down below. All right, now, as we look around the room, we see, wow, really just the one major arcana energy, isn't it? Just the one. Okay. The Hierophant, right? The next step for you, the immediate future, is that Hierophant energy. And sometimes that is stepping into a position of wisdom, right? It could be that this is a very challenging situation right here, but stepping forward through this is giving you a level of mastery, okay? We want that dream life. We know that we're doing something for a reason. This is your Holy Grail quest. But the physical realm has challenges for you right now, okay? Getting through these challenges is going to lead you to a level of expertise that you're sort of looking for. All right? They're really going to be huge. So we've got, let's see, we got fire and fire. Obviously got some good water, water and water, air and air, and then this wall of earth, right? And as the Knight of Cups is trying to go forward into this level of mastery, this level of expertise, maybe you're trying to even acquire some sort of a teaching position or something like that. The Hierophant is a very complex card, as are all the major arcana energies. But sometimes the Hierophant is letting us know that we may be in need of a teacher or a guide at this time. Okay? It could be that you're stepping into a role as a teacher, as a guide. But sometimes, it's kind of like everybody has a teacher. Even the teachers have teachers, right? Even your therapist has a therapist, that sort of thing. That everybody has somebody sort of that is above them, that they can gain wisdom from, that they can learn from. And I think that's a very important thing to understand as well, is that we may be right now in need of some outside assistance, a consultant, spiritual consultant of some kind to help us deal with with this wall of earth energy. Could be this is your financial advisor or your tax person or your accountant or something like this, right? It could be this is your personal trainer, or this is like someone on YouTube kind of showing you, like, this is how you can structure your workouts, or, something like this. Realizing that we don't have to reinvent the wheel, basically, okay? Look at somebody who has built a wheel or used a wheel that you like, and maybe take their idea if you have to. You know what I mean? We don't have to do everything on our own from scratch. We can stand on the shoulders of giants as we become a giant in our own right. Yeah. But let's look at card number 2. Card number 2 is the battlefield. And this is what's blocking your path right now. It's your personal task or quest. And this is a card that's saying we're sort of like, we're looking for stability. Right now what we need is a budget, right? What we need right now is a routine. What we need right now is some structure and order. We need good habits. This is like the situation that's testing your strength and your resolve. Obviously, you're on this quest for the Holy Grail. We want that 10 of Cups, yeah. We got to go through the day-to-day activities to get there. And this card is about safety, security, stability, health and wealth, fitness and finances, earthly power. How do we harness earthly power? Routine. Habits. Good habits will accumulate power. Bad habits wastes our energy, drains our energy away. So with this card, it kind of asks us to look at how we structure our day, the things that we do, the things that we're involved with. Do we have any sort of bad habits that we might want to overwrite with some good habits? You know, good habit, waking up, drinking water in the morning. Simple, easy to do, right? Wake up in the morning, get out of bed, take a couple of deep breaths. That's a very good habit, you know. But also, you know, other habits, financial habits, you know. Where do we need to pay attention in our lives in order to stabilize the flow of energy, get things into a nice, orderly routine, even though that kind of it almost feels like that's sacrilegious. You know, I don't want this boring daily routine, right? I want passion. I've got all this passion. I've got all this love. I want to get that 10 of cups. I want to, you know, the most purest passion you have is going to need some sort of structure in order to bear fruit, in order to grow, to manifest. Okay? And so I think that it's very important right now that we look at those ways that we are setting up our life. We got to set ourselves up for the win, physically, you know, physically, financially. And that's maybe the challenge right now. This is where we need to grow, where we need to transform, where we need to establish more of a routine. We have the passion, but what if we only really exercise that passion, let's say, like once in a while, whenever I kind of feel like it? Nothing's really going to happen, right? That's not going to produce anything. So we put it into a little bit of a box. And I know that kind of, again, seems sacrilegious. Taking our passion and putting it into a routine. It needs to have some sort of structure around it. So in a way, what this becomes is the chariot. That we have the discipline, we have we're in alignment with this sense of destiny. We know who we are, why we're here, we know what we want, and we know now how to go about getting it. And so we have this loyalty and this devotion to our higher purpose, something outside of us. So this passion, this is who you really are. This is what you really want. And you're looking at the future and thinking, I want this more than anything. I can't stress how much pressure I feel inside right now, because it feels like something is really gripping us tremendously. I can't put it into words. And this passion needs a structure. You need to have a fence around you. And so I think the Cancer energy, the Chariot card, and the Knight of Cups is going to be a very important energy for you. I would look into where your Cancer placements are. I would maybe even watch the Cancer readings if I were you. So this is about having our passion and giving it the proper field in which it can operate. You have this passion for painting, let's say. Well, that's good. Wonderful, right? I wish I had a passion for painting. I don't care for it much. You need to not just paint once in a while, or not just dream about it, not just think about it, not just feel it and wish for it and hope for it. You need to start setting up your life so you can do it. So maybe it's a matter of getting a piece of paper, getting a paintbrush. Maybe it's even simpler than that. You're this artist, let's say. You got to start doing the art. It doesn't matter if you have all the supplies you need or if you only have a scrap of paper and a broken pencil. That's all you need. You don't even need that. You need a finger and some dirt, some mud. You know what I mean? You don't have to spend a lot of money on it. What the idea here is that we're sectioning off time and space to fulfill our passion. And this doesn't mean that it's going to necessarily be your job. Doesn't mean you're going to make money doing it. I think by the looks of the cards, I think you will probably be making some money doing it. Right now, we just have to focus on doing it. This is the sun in Capricorn. This is you starting to climb the mountain. This is you figuring out what supplies I need. What's the minimum required, allotment? What are the minimum resources that I need in order to start doing something? I want to start practicing drums. I want to play drums again. Really beyond that, I want to have a life where I feel musical. I feel connected to music, whether it's singing or playing the drums or something like that, right? What's the absolute minimum thing that I need? Maybe a phone or radio, something where I can listen to music, or I need at least the ability to sing or something. Really, all I need are my fingers and a table. Ask my wife. I'm always drumming on the table, on the steering wheel. It's it's almost a bad habit of mine. She thinks it's a bad habit. I think it's a good habit. Who's right? But the idea here is that we need to find the minimum resource necessary to start doing the passion. And that's kind of our challenge right now, because we may be feeling as if the finances aren't there. There's a lot of problems, there's a lot of other things going on. So it may be that you're not in a position right now where you're prioritizing this something, right? Whatever's on your heart when you close your eyes at night. Yeah. So the Four of Pentacles is that battlefield where we are trying to chisel out, carve out a little bit of time and space in order to do something we love. Whether it's an art form, whether it's something involving learning or school or something, or studies, or even reading books, or if it's a relationship, or if it's a pet, a plant, a person, a friendship. Doesn't matter. Stamp collection. Maybe you want to make ice cream. I hope it's ice cream. Whatever it is that you want to do, this is about you prioritizing it enough to say, I need to carve out some time and space in order to do it. Now, the card under the surface is position 3. It's your soul position, reveals your unconscious drives, private self, the emotional landscape. It's a card of worry. It's a card of change. This is a card of an instability. Yeah. And right now you may be feeling as if your life is kind of like unsettled. That there are things that are up in the air. Okay. Things that are, maybe a lot of things are changing. Maybe a lot of things are changing in your life. Maybe friends are coming and going. Maybe your job stuff's changing there. Maybe your living situation has changed a little bit. Kind of feels like there's a lot of things moving around, a lot of turmoil, maybe a lot of chaos going on. And so this is a card that's really telling us that we feel a little bit disordered inside. And so what we need to do in the external world is figure out a nice routine, good habits, not just for this passion, not just for, maybe it's not really about one particular thing, like, I want to play the drums, and so now I got to figure out in the chaos of life how to section off a little bit of time and space where I can play the drums for, half an hour a day or whatever. Maybe this is the feeling like I want my life to feel fulfilled in every dimension, not just in this one little passion thing, but this passion for life in general. I want to find the ever-elusive Holy Grail, the ever-elusive happy life, right? I think we all want to be happy, whatever that looks like for you. Maybe we don't know what it looks like. Maybe we know right now that we are experiencing a lot of changes, a lot of turmoil. A lot of things feel like they're up in the air or not settled. Okay, and I think that in a very broad way, creating some sort of routine, creating good habits in our life, whether it's just a kind of a daily routine, get out of bed, take a deep breath, get a drink of water, just sort of ordering our lives a little bit, helps to reduce this inner feeling of worry or anxiety. Okay, it may be that we are worried about money. Well, then we definitely need a budget or a routine. And what is a budget other than a spending routine? What is a routine? What are habits other than energy budgets, right? So if there is this concern for our finances, let's say, we need a strategy in order to settle this. And sometimes it's it's just the calm that it brings us. I know that I'm in a lot of credit card debt, right? And so if I have a system set up, a routine of making payments and all this kind of thing, and I just sort of set it and forget it, and it becomes kind of automatic, it becomes a habit. This isn't gone, but it feels more manageable, right? It feels like I don't have to worry about it so much. It's not tormenting me. It's not preventing me from enjoying my life. You know, I wish it wasn't here, but at least I have a system in place where I can manage it. Okay, so it's that sort of thing. I don't know if it's a debt or credit card bills for you, but that's the idea, that we're not getting rid of the problem. We're fixing the problem. We're solving it. So the 5 usually is a card that's saying, hey, look at me. The 5, I look at the 5 as like a hand that's saying, hey, I'm over here. And this is something in the physical realm. Physical as in our health and well-being, or in our financial world. Something on the material plane that is telling you, hey, look at me. We don't want to ignore this. And it's hard to ignore because we realize that it's affecting our happiness. So whether this is a physical fitness kind of thing, or if this is something about your money, look at it. Don't ignore it. You know, it's kind of like, I don't want to look at the credit card bills because I don't want to freak out. No, look at them. Get a good idea of what this is. This is like you, I don't know, you stub your pinky toe on the bed frame. Ouch, right? I've done that so many times. And it's kind of like where you don't want to look at it. It hurts so bad, you're just squeezing it. You don't want to look at it. But eventually you know that you have to kind of look at it to see what's going on, to see how bad it is, see if I got to go to the doctor or whatever. And you don't want to look at it, but you do. And once you do, then you can put the Band-Aid on it. Then you can wash it off and put the ointment on it, wrap it up, or whatever you got to do. I don't know what you do. I think I broke my pinky toe once a long time ago, and there's really nothing the doctor can do. They just say, well, it'll heal. But we have to be able to look at it. We have to be willing to look at it as much as we don't want to, if we're going to find any kind of a solution, a working system, because that's what this card is all about. This is Mercury in Taurus. This is about us finding a strategy or a system to improve something that we look at it, it looks broken. This looks broken. Look at the card closely, it looks broken. Right? It's something trying to get your attention anyway. And I'm sure you know what it is. I've given a few examples, but it's up to you to kind of identify this. But once you identify it, then becomes the challenge of, you know, doing the work, setting up a system, getting ours, climbing out of this. Maybe this is debt. And then this is, of course, the sun in Capricorn. This is you climbing yourself, climbing out of the hole, getting yourself out of that bind through good habits. You wake up one day and realize, I feel unhealthy and I don't like it. It doesn't make me feel good emotionally and I don't feel good physically. So what do I got to do? I can't just snap my fingers and it's gone. I can't ignore it and just, well, go have another cheeseburger. I do like cheeseburgers. You know, we come up with a system. You say, okay, you know what? I'm just going to do these few things every day and I'm just going to commit to it. I'm going to be as steadfast as I can be, and I'll get myself out of this hole. The sooner I start, the sooner I can get to the glory. That 6 of Pentacles at the top there. And that 10 of Cups, of course, is that, you know, the feeling of contentment and satisfaction. But let's look at the card in the background here. This is position 4. This is the dwarf. Okay? And this is a Knight of Wands. This is an event that perhaps needs to be released, some kind of past influence, or an event that might still be shaping our current situation. And to me, this feels like we don't really know how we got ourselves into this position. You know, when I look at the credit card debt, or I look at my physical health or something sometimes, and these are just examples. I mean, I think we all have, most of us anyway, have some kind of debt. We have bills to pay. Most of us aren't exactly where we would like to be in our physical health, okay? So these are just general examples. But this is the card that kind of says, I don't really know how I got here. I find myself in this position, but it kind of feels like suddenly, here I am. Okay, because it feels like it happened quickly. This is a card very much is very impulsive. This is a card that usually does not look before it leaps. Okay, and so it may be that we did what we thought was right at the time, and maybe that's just it. Maybe you do know how you got here, and you said, I didn't want to get here, but I know that what I did at the time is something I had to do. It's like, suddenly I'm in debt, right? Why? Well, maybe you know that you had this big medical thing, or you had these big expenses, or there was something that happened, and you had to spend the money, and you had to go into debt. There was just, you did it not because you wanted to have such a, pile of debt, but because there was a good reason behind it. Okay, there was a need for that at the moment. But I think that right now this is an energy that is, it's kind of like something that we have to sort of, in a way, let go of this, because we don't see any of the queens, right? The queens are looking at the past and trying to understand the past. I feel like maybe you don't really need to dwell on this, but as we move into the Hierophant, we see that there is a lesson back here. Okay, and the lesson of the past is to kind of know how we got ourselves in the position that we're in now, and then understanding that we have a desire for a different life now, because we're going from fire to water here, in a way, and so it may be that your life is really changed. Okay, it could be that we're now not going to be so ready to jump into new things as quickly. I kind of feel like, in a way, you're slowing down a little bit in life. I think maybe we're understanding what is more important and what means more to us. So there's maybe a shift in priorities here between the fire and the water. But the Knight of Wands, right, in the past, it's an Aries energy. It's a cardinal fire. Of course, our Knight of Cups is a cardinal water energy. And to me, it feels that this is a different priority. Maybe the Knight of Wands is kind of focused on other goals, has other ambitions, and maybe this was a more competitive kind of lifestyle. Maybe this was maybe we were focused, maybe it was just lifestyle, right? Maybe we're just focused kind of more on the lifestyle rather than the depth of meaning. So I feel like now as we're shifting into that water energy, it feels like we're really committed to the way our life should feel, the meaning that it should have. Okay. I feel like this maybe was the beginning of something, because all the Knights, right, are kind of talking about the future and how things are starting. So it may be that the situation you're in now, we sort of jumped in before we had all the resources. It's kind of like, I don't know, like you did an impulse buy, maybe in a good way. Maybe it's like you really wanted a house, you needed a house, and so you bought a house before you really could afford it. And now what? Now you've got a big mortgage, house payment, all this stuff. And so now you really need that system to try to dig yourself out of that. So I feel like this was necessary. It was maybe a little bit like quick, but it feels like it was necessary at the time. And now we're sort of I think the Knight of Cups is saying, like, was this a good idea? How do I feel about it now? And I think we're very hopeful. I think we realize that, yes, this was a necessary move, and now I just got to do the steps to climb out of that. And so it feels kind of like that, where maybe, I don't know, maybe you really needed a car. And so you went and you bought a car before you really had the money for it. And so now we got to pay off the car. That's pretty standard, But that's the impulse of this card, where it just, at the time, it feels like this was the right thing to do. So it's not reckless. It wasn't completely irresponsible. I made the best choice that I could at the time, and now I'm in this situation, and I have to I have to get through this wall of the earth energy in order to get to the real happiness and the real satisfaction. But I think that the Knight of Cups is realizing that it's worth it. That this was you're exactly, there's no regrets, in other words. Okay, maybe if we had a queen here, we'd be thinking, well, maybe there's some regret, but no. It's like we did this, and now we just have to stay committed and stay passionate about what we're doing and get through this challenging period of time, which does feel like it's kind of like this debt, that we realize the hole we're in. We're gonna work hard. We have a plan, we have a system, and we're gonna keep climbing, and eventually we're gonna get up here to card number 5, and this is the giant. This is your motivating force. It's the light at the end of the tunnel. And you know that this is gonna happen. I think every day that goes by that we do this habit, that we stick to the budget, that we see a little bit of the progress on the material plane. Every day that we take a step forward feels like we're getting closer and closer to the light at the end of the tunnel. Okay. Now, position 5 is the motivation, and it's material success. The 6 of Pentacles. Right? Material success. I know that by doing this, I'm succeeding. Every step I take out of the hole is me getting closer to being out of the hole. Being closer to then being in the black instead of the red. So every day, I'm trying to take another step forward. Every time I send in the payment, I'm a little bit further, away from the bottom there. I'm a little bit closer to being debt-free or whatever it is. Okay? And so this is motivating us because we know that this is real and this is possible. This is that success. Okay? And to me, it feels like it's more of a financial thing than anything else. And I think that you are committed to your budget, your routine, your habits, your allocation of energy. Okay? And I know that we're talking about passion and how we need to have some sort of a structure and order around that passion. Okay, and we kind of have to start with the minimum resources necessary to do it. I think that as we make progress, we're going to continue to grow and expand in those resources. So whether this is about a hobby or a career or some kind of it's something on the physical plane, obviously, that you're trying to achieve. Yeah, so any of these kind of scenarios can be true for you. But the 6 of Pentacles is the success that we're dreaming of, and we know that it's possible. This is the moon in Taurus, where this is, of course, Mercury in Taurus. We have a strategy for building the life we want to build. A lot of Taurus references here, too. I would maybe take a look at the Taurus reading, because the Hierophant is Taurus, obviously, and you got your 2 Taurus cards here. You never know when you're going to receive the message that really is going to click for you. But the moon in Taurus is us believing, acknowledging, believing, seeing the light at the end of the tunnel, believing that our success is possible. If we didn't believe it was possible, then no amount of routine will get us there. We have to have that passion. We have to believe in it. We have to love it. Okay? I think this is a material success for you. I think that what's driving you right now in the short term is every day seeing a little bit of progress. Every day feeling like you're getting closer to that day where, you're beyond this thing, this wall, right? That's preventing you from really, feeling kind of free and fulfilled. And so it's kind of like the 10 of Cups then becomes paying off the house or the car, or getting out of debt, or achieving your goal weight, or, whatever it might be, hitting the number that you're looking for. And now position 6 is the Hierophant. This is the Imago. This is the immediate step for you. And this might be consulting with a person or a website or a service or something outside of you that can maybe give you the guidance that you need right now. I kind of feel like you're meeting up with some kind of a teacher. Okay. I think in a certain sense, this is you getting through this wall is really, you're becoming an expert. It's kind of like that you've gone through this whole financial challenge. And on the other side of it, you're now qualified to help other people, you know, that you've gained something really, really essential here. You've gained a wisdom. And so, you know, you may meet people that have never been through a challenge. They never got credit cards. They never got into debt. They never bought anything and had to struggle, and it was whatever, right? It's different when you've been through it. Those people that have been down in the hole have so much more wisdom than people that have never fallen into the hole, right? You don't want to ask the people that have never been there, how do you do it? They don't know. They may act like they know, but they don't know. You're going to know, right? Because you're getting yourself out of it, and you have a wisdom that comes from experience. Okay? And it may even show you going into some kind of a profession where you are helping other people. Okay, do something similar. And this we're talking about finances. This could be a physical thing. Could have something to do with health or well-being, right? Now, I'm not a doctor. I'm not a financial advisor. I don't know what you're doing. I don't know what you should do. You're going to know. Okay? And as your next step, this card might say, we need to get some outside help. We need to consult with somebody. Look on the internet. Look on YouTube. Call a friend. You know, ask for assistance. Call your accountant. Call your tax attorney. Whatever it is. Call the credit card companies and ask them to lower your rate or something. You know what I mean? There are things that we can do to try to get some kind of guidance or wisdom or a little bit of insight that we may not have. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. You want to get out of the hole, but you don't have to just start from the bottom and climb up all by yourself. You can stand on shoulders of other people that have been there before. Because someone might have some tips or some ideas or some insights that will help you. Okay. So I think this card is really right now saying that it's essential for you to reach out for any hand that you can find that will help you to get a little bit further down the road here. And maybe there's a pride thing saying that I don't want to ask for help. I'm not going to tell. It's something I don't talk about, right? I think we're going to start. Okay, whether this is, finding resources, finding YouTube videos, podcasts, or something that talk about the subject for you to help you get an idea of what you should do, what you want to do. You don't have to follow everybody else's plan to the T like it's a recipe. You can pick and choose. You can cherry pick, right? That information that works for you. I listen to a lot of podcasts. I watch a lot of YouTube. You don't have to just, be a slave to whatever that person's telling you. Like I watch these exercise kind of or health fitness kind of videos, and they have all these ideas. You should do this. You should do this. You should do all these things. Some of those aren't going to work for you, right? You pick and choose the ones that might. You experiment. You try different things. You're learning. You're becoming the expert of your own life. Okay? There's a depth of wisdom and experience in you that's growing, and I think that's just one kind of side benefit from all of this challenge that you're going through right now. Okay. I think in a way, to me, the Hierophant kind of looks like someone who's got a lot of money, It's kind of like, you're a self-made millionaire, so to speak, with the Hierophant. And I feel like that is you reaching that level of expertise. Reaching that level, now whether you do this literally or not, reaching the level where you could share what you've learned with other people. You know what I mean? Like you've reached such a level of success that now you can have your own podcast and tell other people how to do it. If you wanted to, you don't have to. But that's the status, that's the level that you're reaching. Okay? And so to me, it's like, you're not going to take financial advice from someone that doesn't have any money. But once, you find these people that they came from nothing and they're a millionaire or whatever, you say, yeah, well, give me some tips. Now, it doesn't mean that you have to share what you know, but I feel like maybe you will. But this is just talking about the kind of person that you're becoming. You're becoming someone that has done it for real. And you are in a position where you could, if you choose, give back to people by sharing your experience. Maybe this is a physical fitness thing. It's like one of those people on TV that they're sharing their fitness journey. That maybe they they overcame a lot of these health issues and they went from zero to hero, And now they're just trying to share their story. Okay. And so I feel like that's kind of the level for you. I think even before we reach that level, it's important that we consider how we are sharing or passing on what we've learned through this. Okay, you got kids, you got friends, you got little nieces and nephews or something. Like, how are you sharing your journey with them so that they kind of can learn from you? And maybe this is the idea with a kid where it just goes in one ear and out the other. But they're going to hear you say it often enough, something's going to sink in. So consider that. Consider how this knowledge, this experience, the wisdom that you're gaining through your path is being transmitted to other people in the world through you. I think it's important that we do that regardless of what this is, regardless of whether you think you've made it or not. You can share your journey. Maybe you start a blog. Maybe you just start talking to your kids about, like, be careful with the credit cards and stuff, or whatever it is. Let's talk about the path of the serpent. Yeah. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please do. And if there's anything you would like me to pray over or meditate upon or send positive energy toward, please let me know. Now, your general energy, position 7, the persona. And it's the Prince of Wands. This is a very committed energy, very tenacious, very persevering. This is someone that is focused on the present. Okay? Our knights are focused on the future. Our princes are focused on right now. And so this is somebody that's doing the work, fire to earth. Every day getting up, doing the routine. Every day getting up, doing the exercises, taking the deep breath, getting the glass of water, whatever. Every month, looking at the budget, looking at the bills, doing the work. Not focused on down the road how good it's going to feel. Not focused so much on the success, just focused on the day-to-day operations. Because we know that everything we do today is creating our future. If we're going to get up here to this great physical success, we've got to do it one step at a time. That we get there in each moment. Okay? So it's kind of like the future doesn't really exist. What exists is right now. And if I have an idea of what I want, kind of saying in my future, this 10 of Cups life that I want to live, my dream come true life. I know what that feels like. I kind of have an idea what it is. I got to start doing that thing now, because it's not going to exist in the present unless I start doing the work in the present to grow that. Okay, it's not like I'm just walking along and then suddenly, oh, here's my best life. No, it's right here in this moment. My thoughts, words, and deeds are manifesting it right here in front of me. And every day that I wake up and I look at my life, it's a little bit better. A little bit better. And before we know it, we're in the garden. We're in the paradise. Okay? And so this is someone who is just focused on the thoughts, words, and deeds in the present moment that are creating the future right here, right now. Not worried about the past, not worried about the future. I don't care how I got here. I don't care what tomorrow's going to look like. This is what I got to do right now. No, maybe we think ahead a little bit, but you get the idea. Doing what we need to do, every thought, word, and deed in the present moment is creating that future that we want. And that's what created our present, right? Is all the thoughts, words, and deeds from the past. It's how we got here. And if that's the case, then that just means that every thought, word, and deed really does matter. Really, really does matter. Even the little insignificant things. Okay? The things that don't mean much. The fact that we always brush our teeth with our left hand every night. Well, maybe you do something different, right? Maybe I need to brush my teeth with my right hand every night just to shock my brain a little bit and start building new synapses and make my brain grow, right? And so we're talking about routines and habits. We need to understand that it doesn't mean just mindless repetition. It means being aware of our habits. How do we need to change them? How do they need to grow and expand? How does our daily life need to, we don't just want to have one routine, daily routine, set it in stone, and that's it. Forget about it. Check out. Not even present. Not mindful in any way. You want to be mindful. Is this still working? What can I change? Maybe I can start doing my brushing my teeth with my opposite, my non-dominant hand. I'm a lefty. And maybe that will really trigger something else, and there'll be this cascade, and I'll kind of, I'll see a benefit to that. I think there's a tremendous benefit in doing things with your non-dominant body parts. Okay, I'm a big fan of that stuff, and so it's not about just the iron routine, the mindless repetition that we're just parroting something every single day. No, it's kind of an active engagement that every day I'm mindful, I'm aware of what my routines and my habits are, and I'm making the choices every day to continue to do certain things, and maybe I need to modify this. Maybe I can add this. Maybe I can change that or swap that out. Okay, so it's like you're looking at the budget every day or every week or every month. And it's not just like, well, that's the budget, I'm sticking to it. Maybe it's saying, okay, well, maybe I can stop spending on this and I can put a little bit more money into the debt and I can get out of it faster, We're able to make little tweaks here and there. And it's very important that we do that. We stay mindful. And we pay attention and we look at it as often as we need to. Yeah. This is the persona. This is how other people see you. People see you as somebody who is extraordinarily committed. Yeah, and persevering. Somebody that does not give up, does not quit. And, even if people kind of know your situation, they feel like you're somebody that is just always working hard. Yeah, always working hard. So really, I'm kind of preaching to the choir here because everything that I'm talking about is stuff that I think you're already doing. And so this might just be that kind of reinforcement that's saying, hey, this is a really good idea. However, we do have the 8 of Swords in position 8, which is the shadow position. And there are things in your environment that are causing us a little bit of analysis paralysis. So sometimes we get involved too much in looking at the budget. We're not actually doing the budget. We're so busy kind of tweaking our habits and things that we realize that we're not actually getting anything done. So this is, we want to be mindful, but we don't want to have too many minds. Right? The last samurai energy here, right? Too many minds. We need to be in the flow. We need to understand how to be present, but not overthinking it. Okay, so when we're looking at the budget, yeah, okay, good, look at the budget. But if you're not living the budget, there's no point in looking at it. You gotta look at it, but you gotta live it. And so if we're looking at it too often, we might feel overwhelmed mentally. We might be too chaotic, making things too complex. This, of course, is Jupiter in Gemini. Things are becoming too complex. We're getting tangled up in a big ball of wires. And sometimes then we just feel stuck. When you're working on a project, anytime you try to do one of those spreadsheets, with the little cells, and you start adding in all these formulas, and you're making all these, I don't know, whatever you call them. You color in this, you're formatting it and everywhere and putting everything in. Eventually, it gets so complex that we just have to start over. We just have to delete and open up a new page or whatever, and start fresh, because we just get overwhelmed with the amount of details and complexity that we don't know. We don't know how to figure it out. We don't know if everything's right. We don't know what wires are connecting to what things. That our mind kind of looks like one of those data centers, right? The server rooms. It's just wires everywhere, and these cooling fans that are trying to keep everything from overheating. And we just say, that's it. I'm stepping away from this. Okay, and so simple is better for you. Simple is better. Whatever's going on in your life right now, don't let it become overcomplicated. Try to simplify things. And so this kind of is. In a way, setting up the the automation, making things simple. Just have the money be paid automatically, so you don't have to overthink it. Set up as much things in your life that are easy to do, and you're more likely to do them. I have one of those sonic toothbrushes, right? I got it many years ago. It still works, and it just makes it so much more likely to brush your teeth, 2 or 3 times a day. So, setting up these less complicated systems for you. They're going to help you to make the progress that you want to make faster and enjoy yourself, kind of more during the process, right? And let's say this is something like a passion or it's some kind of a project you're working on. We could be so wrapped up in, let's say this is you want to do the music, you want to play drums. You're trying to carve out a little bit of time and space where you can play the drums. Don't overthink it. Don't make it complicated. The simplest, the minimum sort of resources necessary to play the drums. You need a tabletop and your fingers, right? So just do it. You carve out this time and space. You don't want to waste that time and space organizing things, complicating things, hooking up all these different wires. No, just get in the moment, get in the vibe, and just start doing it. And the same thing for if it's physical fitness. And trying to get ourselves out of this, sort of physical health, predicament we're in. A lot of us are in one form or fashion. We don't want to overcomplicate it. We want to make it as easy as possible to do. We don't need all this fancy equipment, all these apps, all these systems, all these things to complicate things. What is going to help us do it? What's going to be the simplest thing? And yes, I do like apps. I love gadgets. I love technology, but it's got to be useful. It's got to make things, it has to make my life easier. Okay, now, unpopular opinion, I used to be an Android person. I used to love the Android phones. Because when I was younger, in my late 20s, I used to like to go in and root them and program them and just kind of tweak them out and customize them and all this stuff and flash all these other ROMs and stuff it used to take up a lot of time. It used to be really complicated and spending just hours fiddling with the thing. But as I got older, I switched over to an iPhone. Why? They're just as good. I mean, they're just as fat. The hardware is awesome. Just as fast, just as smooth. Things run very well. The graphics look nice. They're both amazing products. But for me, the Apple products are simpler because I'm at a point in my life where I don't want to just sit there and have to customize it or figure everything out or have this complexity. I just want to be able to pick it up and it works, does what I need it to do because I have other things to do. I'm a father now. I have a YouTube channel now. I have other goals now, right? And so simplicity is better. I still love technology. I still love gadgets and all that stuff, but they have to make my life easier and not just more time consuming. Okay? And that's our Eight of Swords. And that's in the environment here. And so sometimes that life feels so complicated, it feels like there's so much going on. I don't know, there's too many things to choose from. There are too many settings for me to go through and have to customize just to get the thing to work. And it kind of feels chaotic. It makes me feel chaotic inside. So sometimes when we simplify our life outside, we simplify our mind and our heart and our body on the inside. Okay? I think simplicity is better. But we do have now the Six of Swords. There is the idea of a plan here, a step-by-step kind of orderly thing, and it's kind of like we need the blueprint. Now, the map is not the territory. The blueprint is not the house that you build, right? So our worry is that we're going to have this plan and things are not going to go according to plan. Then what? Then I feel lost. I feel chaotic again. It's just a blueprint. It's just a map. Okay? So it kind of says, we got this plan, going to get out of debt. This is another Mercury energy, right? Mercury in Aquarius. So we're having a plan saying, I'm going to get out of debt. It's going to take me 12 months, but this is it. I pay this much money every month, and then I'm debt-free. That's the 12-month plan. Boom. What is that, Michael? What is that Office episode? Michael Scott's at the conference. He says 30 days, 30 steps to getting out of bankruptcy, right? And, of course, it's whatever. I don't know, funny episode. But that's what this is. We create that sort of a plan. It's going to take me 12 months. I'm going to stick to the plan. It's going to happen that way. We know real life doesn't happen that way, right? Life is what happens when we're busy making plans. So we don't want to overthink it. Just set up a plan. Say, okay, pay this much money every month, and you'll get out of debt in 12 months. Something simple. But in practice, it's going to change. You might have one expense one month. The next month, maybe you decide that you want to take your family out somewhere. We spent a little bit too much money over here. We had some repairs we had to make to the house. We had some flooding. We had a problem with our boiler here. Gosh. So we realize that we can be adaptive, that we can make changes on the fly. And that's why we look at the budget every day, week, or month, or whatever. And some days, if this is your physical fitness, some days you may not, you may not exercise as much as you did the day before. You may eat more or eat differently. And so you're not always going to stay right on track, and that's okay. And what we have to do is every once in a while assess where we are, compare it to the plan, and say, what adjustments do I need to make? Okay, spent a little bit too much money this month. Okay, next month we got to tighten the belt, and then we'll get back on track. It's okay. We have that ability. I expect the mystery card to be the magician. Yeah. The Ten of Cups we talked about, I know this reading's getting really long. The Ten of Cups we talked about, that is your overall life satisfaction. That is the destiny card, right? And that is really ultimate fulfillment. This is you getting out of debt. This is you achieving your goals. This is you living a life where you know that if you put your mind and your heart and your body and your soul into something, you can achieve it. And this is that feeling of accomplishment. This is that feeling like I'm living the dream. Okay? Whatever the goal is for you, let's say it's getting out of debt. This is that feeling when you got out of debt. This is that feeling of now like you've incorporated playing the drums into your life. You've carved out the time and space. You have a plan for your progress. You feel successful. You feel like you're doing it. And you feel like life is good. Life is good. Okay. Let's look at the mystery card. Position 11, the guide, the voice of the silence within you. This usually tells us the character qualities that we should develop in order to walk the path ahead. I don't know what this is going to be. I kind of feel like it should be the magician. I feel like it might be the empress. It might be a card of simplicity. So an ace, maybe, right? It might be another 6. If you have a prediction, put it in the comments. Let's reveal this mystery together. The Queen of Cups. The Queen of Cups is looking at the past, not with regret, but with satisfaction. Looking back at the past and understanding the ending of something. So this is you out of the hole, right? You've been down in a hole, right? Shout out to Alice in Chains, rest in power, Lane Staley. When we've gotten out of the hole, you're going to look back at the situation. And you're going to feel those feelings. And you're going to sit with those feelings for a long time. That satisfaction, that pride, that sense of fulfillment. The queens are always looking at the past. The queens are all about how we feel about something ending. And the Queen of Cups anyway, is lingering in the emotion of something ending. So this is going to feel good. Getting yourself out of the hole or incorporating this into your life, whatever success means to you, all right, whatever it means to you, is going to feel good for a long time. And you're going to be very happy that you pursued that goal. See, we started with the Knight of Cups, we have the Queen of Cups. And our past and our future are linking up in the present. And we know that we're going to be very, very happy that we made the choices we made today. So it's kind of like the Queen is your future self. Very satisfied. Very, very happy. So we make we tighten things up. We follow a budget. We get some good habits, some good practices now. And we know that we're going to feel better for it. We know that it's going to be worth the struggle and the challenge and the effort. Okay. Absolutely wonderful confirmation card. Because sometimes the queens are about the regret. So really, they all are talking about our future selves, looking back at the past and wondering, did I do the right things? Well, we can see now you got that 10 of Cups. Yeah, your future self's going to be very, very happy with what you've accomplished. Okay. I think this is really, really good. Now, please let the message settle into your heart. Okay. Every card is a mirror And every station is a temple of transformation, revealing who you're becoming and the world you're creating. All right. Remember that the tarot does not dictate your future. It reveals the pattern of possibilities. It invites you to co-create your destiny. If this message has illuminated your soul path in any way, please share your reflections down below. Together we journey onward, ever upward, and ever inward. And we're going to do an extended reading as well. If you want to stick around, we'll do I Ching, hexagram, we'll do oracle cards. There's a link in the corner. There's a link down below. New readings for Capricorn, Thursdays and Sundays. Be sure to watch both readings. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet. Leave a comment and let me know where in the world you're watching from. I want you to know that you're the most important part of Dove and Serpent Tarot. I thank you and I love you. And we are all in this together.